Boom! What's up, y'all? Hopefully you, your family and friends are happy and healthy today. I'm on the Pinellas Trail. I'm in Dunedin right now, looking for a house to rent. And for some reason, when all of this started happening and all the craziness started happening with the virus, and then I got approved for my HUD badge and I started house shopping. I thought it would be a lot easier than it is now. But, I'm on Zillow or Zillow, I'm on Craigslist, I'm on Facebook, I'm on all these housing tools. And like the first 3 days, there was a lot of inventory there and the prices were pretty good. But fast forward 10 days from now, it's almost impossible to find a house for rent right now. Online, let alone in person. And I get it. So I'm driving down Clearwater Beach, and the state's not on lockdown yet, but I think it should be. There's boatings, like the Amber Alert. They keep sending Amber Alerts out for people that are in tent. If you're on a boat, keep it to 10 people or less. That's not gonna work. If I ninja sneeze, 9 of y'all are gonna get sneezed on. It doesn't seem like Florida is taking this pandemic serious at all. But trying to find a house for rent is very interesting. I feel like the prices are kind of being inflated right now because they know a lot of people are looking for housing. What is really, really cool though, and this really touched my heart, is this morning I found out that Tampa Bay is setting up like a makeshift tents. And I think it's going to house over 1,000 homeless people. And I think they spent $150,000 on that for 30 days. And they can house 1,000 homeless people. So that's really, really cool. Why can't we do that all the time? You know what I mean? Let's use this pandemic as a learning experience that, hey, we can find money, to take care of the homeless. I think they signed $150,000 for 30 days. And they each get their own tent, they get their own bedding, they can do their laundry, they have food, all of that stuff. And they karate chop, they cleared out a space, I think behind a church, and they have 1,000 people. So if you are homeless in Florida, in Dunedin, Clearwater, Largo, it's just a ninja flip over to Florida. It's 20 miles from here. You can go there and you could stay there for free. And that just opened up this morning. So, I actually think, there's so much politics being played right now with this epidemic, depending on what state you're in. They're not doing testing. I truly believe 70% of humans are going to have this. I truly believe Pinellas County, where I'm at right now, sadly, is going to be like New York City in about 2.5 weeks. It's just this, it's just the politics that are being playing right now. And I actually think everything should be on lockdown right now. I think evictions and I think rent should be on freeze. We've got 2 days before everybody's rent's due. Not mine, but everywhere I'm going, there's no for rent signs. And so what I'm thinking is that maybe people that own houses that were maybe going to sell it, maybe now they're thinking, hey, it's probably not a good time to sell my house because this is going to last a long time. This virus is going to come back too. And so maybe a lot of people are putting selling their house on hold, and then maybe they're going to put it for rent. But sadly enough, they're juicing these rents like 35%. And, if they put evictions on hold and mortgages on hold and rent, freeze on rent and evictions, everybody's going to be squatting in their shelters, in their homes. And so it's going to be very difficult for a lot of people to pay their rent. It's going to be very difficult to find a place to live. And that's where I'm at right now. I am not complaining at all. I'm just sharing this experience with you all, because I have 60 days to find a home, but I can extend it twice. And I think the VA, the VA will definitely probably do that, especially with, what's going on right now. But yeah, so I'm going around, the inventory online is almost zilch. So I'm going around all of these places and taking photos, calling numbers, doing tours. I've looked at 2 houses so far, and I don't want to be picky. This is just, where I live, where I move, where I ninja flip to, I'm going to be there for a solid year. I have not had that since North Dakota. I have moved so much since I got out of the Navy in 2003. 2 marriages. I have literally moved 50, 60 times. No joke. Built a house, it's just so much stuff. And I want a house, you know, and when I sign a lease, I'm gonna have it for a year. So the two things that are really important to me is I want a garage, because if I have a garage, I can build out my van so I can come see all of you, all you ridiculously raw, authentic rock and rad stars in the group. If I have a place where, you know, it's kind of private, because I don't have the skills yet per se to build out a van, but I got to do like insulation, I got to do solar, I got to repaint it, I got to do all sorts of cool stuff where I can be, or I can have this stealth van where I can live off the grid, which would be amazing right now. How rad would that be if we all had little Tesla vans, right? Where we didn't have to pay a mortgage or a rent. You know what I'm saying? So that would be really, really cool. I'm not gonna go like all out on the van, number one, because most of the money that I have, I'm just gonna give to others. Like I'm helping my niece right now with some funds. But I want a garage where I can, you know, store stuff and work on my van, number one. And then number two, I want a privacy backyard. I want a ninja flip naked. I want to throw, you know, I want to throw my low hangers over my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? I just want to go play. I want a ninja flip. I want to do front handsprings. I want to do videos. I want to do smoothies in a backyard under live oak trees, underneath the sun, you know, just naked. So I want, and you know, there are some houses like that. There's a lot of houses, especially in St. Pete, that are super, super old, like built in the 1940s. And that's fine as long as it has a privacy fence. You know, not only a privacy fence, but like neighbors that aren't like, you know, real close either. Because when I start doing my juice videos again, and whatever I get into, y'all remember, I'm trying to unlearn 99.9% of what I think I know every 3 years and relearn just new things. And so I might not be doing juice videos anymore. I might just be levitating, meditating, pissing glitter and smelling like peaches and sharing how to piss glitter. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, you know, especially in the summer, it gets really, really hot. And I just want to be able to sweat and just play like I am right now in this park. This park's closed down. But if I have an apartment or a condo, I'm realizing like you spend a lot of extra money and you don't have any privacy at all. So you don't have a privacy fence, you really don't have a garage. You know, it would be really rad if I could meet like, or I can have a landlord that's really into forest, permaculture, food forest. So maybe I can just do some work and grow some food forest in there. I'm definitely going to kickstart my Roots of Hope that I've been thinking about for the last 7 years. I was gonna build little gardens at bus stops, you know, for kids to, you know, while they're waiting for the bus, they can learn about, you know, permaculture and gardening and stuff. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ninja flip that in, and just for free, because everything I do is for free. Anything with ridiculously raw authentic, they will never be cost. I will never sell you anything. So if anybody's trying to sell you anything that says ridiculously raw authentic, it's not me. So what I'm thinking is, now that I have this van, you know, maybe I can get another van, like, cause vans are cheap. You know, I've had so many rad cars. I've overpaid so much for cars, y'all. But you get a van for like $1,200. So maybe I can get another van and use that and drive around and just knock on people's doors and be like if they have a really bad backyard or a really bad front yard and an easement that's just like dust and sand, and full of these thorns and ants and nothing, or maybe they're trying to water away, I'll be like, yo, do you like food? They're probably gonna say, yeah. Do you like fresh food? Oh, probably like, yeah. Do you like fruits and vegetables? Oh yeah. Do you like smoothies? Well, check this out. Let me create a food forest in your kitchen for free, and I could just do sheet mulching, cardboard sheet mulching, where I could turn their front yard into a food forest. So like, you know, in 6 months to a year, they'll have blueberry bushes. They'll have, you know, mangoes. They'll have papayas, bananas, all sorts of just deliciousness, rather than just a waste of space. And I believe, and I'll just do that for free. And I think Roots of Hope is a great thing, you know, a great name for it. It's not what I was gonna, you know, do. And I'll be an LLC. I won't take any money, but I think I have to have some bureaucracy, some legal tape just to have that. And, you know, maybe you know, if I'm here for 3 years, maybe I could do, you know, half a dozen of them, or maybe a dozen, or maybe 2 dozen houses where, you know, I could teach people and I'll learn myself, where, you know, maybe in 2 or 3 years, you know, they'll teach someone, they'll teach their neighbor, and then maybe a whole block. They won't waste the irrigation. They won't have grass, which is basically weeds here in Florida, you know. So, and they can have an herb garden. And so that's what I want to do. So I really, really want a backyard. And again, I'm not being picky. You know, I'm homeless. I've been homeless for a long time. But if I could have a wish list, because I'm gonna remain in Florida for a while, you know, I could move with this HUD Vash for the rest of my life. I could move back to Kauai. I can move anywhere I want. It's transferable. So that's one thing that I'm super blessed at, is that for the rest of my life, I will always have my basic necessities met. Like I can go move and not worry about rent. Rent's so crazy, y'all. We don't have to worry about rent, especially right now. You know, or just, that's why I keep talking about universal basic income, y'all. I think it's coming where we don't have to be so stressed out. You know, I bet you everybody, you know, if they weren't so stressed out about bills, you'd make a homestead out of their, if they had land, they'd make a homestead, you know, maybe have some chickens, you know, have an herb garden, have a permaculture food forest, have a elongated garden where they can have, you know, greens, collard greens, turnips, radishes, onions, kale, you know, just all sorts of stuff. So then when something like this happens, you don't have to be on the government's teat, if you know what I'm saying. So that's what I'm doing right now. I want a backyard and I want a garage. That's like my only thing. And I can hold out, you know. I'm very thankful for HEP, you know, that I have the place to stay. But you know, it's very difficult right now because everybody is looking for a place to stay, and nobody wants to be homeless. And if you can't pay your rent, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna stay, they're gonna squat. I seriously think there should be a national freeze on rent, mortgages, and evictions right now. Nobody's still taking this serious, but you know, everybody's rent's due in a couple days. What are they gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So what's your situation? What's your situation? Are you a homeowner? Do you rent? Are you gonna be able to pay your rent? Have you been fired? Let me know. Hi Carly. Carly says, I've been homeless with kids 10 years ago. I know now I have a home and a garage. In Massachusetts, we still have to pay rent. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, you know, I'm really thankful that Florida is, the weather's decent. It's a little hot in the summer, but it's decent. You know, California is like perfect, but you know, just think if I was homeless in Nebraska or North Dakota where I used to live, that would have been cray cray. So anyways, that's it. I'm going to continue to look for homes for rent. You know, I can only do so much online, and you know, I'm on my bike, I'm on the trail, I'm not engaging with anybody. I'm definitely doing the social distancing or physical distancing. I like to say physical distance, not social distancing. You know, there's a lot of other things going on with me at the HEP, you know, thing. There's a lot of people tripping out. I'm even tripping out, and it's just personal space, you know, is key. And so, you know, especially with a lot of the homeless vets. And yesterday I gave another bus pass. You know, I've been talking to the homeless people as I ninja flip around, and I'm noticing a lot more substance abuse, a lot more zombie type like interactions, because they're just numbing themselves with, you know, the substance abuse. If it's just alcohol or pills or whatever it be, I've noticed a lot more numbing of the mind and body, and a lot more despair and depression and anxiety, like tenfold, especially with the homeless community. So that's it, y'all. I'm gonna go play. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate the interactions. I really appreciate the messages that you guys send me. If you're not a member of my group, Ridiculously Raw Authentic, make sure you ninja flip over there now. Tell your story, what's going on with you. I approve every single post. Come over there and play, y'all. I love you. As always, keep it raw, stay rad. What?